Hello, it's your boy Mr. Box Office from Mr. Box Office TV, back with another video. And welcome to Jamaica, Montego Bay. Yes, I told you that I was going on tour as a little spoiler. And here we go, on a tour around Jamaica, day one. But we're not here to talk about that. We'll go into that a little bit later in other videos. But I want to talk about something that's very, very important, because at the moment, there's a lot of discussions with Tottenham Hotspur at the moment. Even though we won today against a K-League team today, 4-3, Son scoring, and I think also Kulusevski scoring as well. Now, the question I have for Tottenham fans at the moment, and the wider fans base as well, have we got the forward line to close that gap? And when I mean close that gap to Man City. I also ask a question as well. When we link to players like Conor Gallagher, and the signings we've already made already, like Archie Gray, we've got Bergvall that came in January, got Timo Werner. Is that going to help us close that gap to Man City? Now, people will say, well, it's a work in progress. It's a 5-year project. You're going to take time. It takes time to build a squad. Well, I will say this. I'll say this league is not a great league at the moment. It wasn't a great league last season. So if Tottenham Hotspur had a very good forward line, we would have a very good opportunity to actually do better than we were last season. I'd also argue that with the way that we play with Postecoglou, it does look very good on the eye when you're passing it about and people are moving in the right positions and filling the system. But when you've got a back four or a back line of four with the midfield very tight and the defence very tight and a good goalkeeper that you're playing against, it's very tricky to pass around that. So what do you need? You need quality players, especially quality players in that forward line. And the reason why I asked a question at the beginning about the forward line is, we used to have quality forwards, and I can talk to them right all day long. One player was Sheringham, Teddy Sheringham, Berbatov, Robbie Keane, Defoe. We also had Hildas Bastiga as well. We had Redbuff. Those didn't really work out very well. We had Pavlichenko, who didn't work out at the beginning, but then got good. We had Gareth Bale. We have Harry Kane, the record goal scorer. We had Klinsmann back in the day. We had Gascoigne. You can name so many strikers that we had, forward players that would actually take on their man. Aaron Lennon would take on his man. You had Son at the moment, who is obviously been very good in the past for us. Give him his due. But now he's waning. So what I'm talking about quality, it's those sort of quality strikers that I'm talking about, those forward players that would take on their man and score goals. That would have more of an effect this season. Will definitely have an effect on the team if they were in the team right now. But when you look at the strikers that we got and the forward line we've got right now, I'm looking at it and saying, great, they work hard, very nice. Maybe with Richarlison, you can argue he's not a very nice person, but he uses it in the other way. But when you look at the characteristics of those players, and you add Conor Gallagher to that as well, a nice guy that works hard, you don't look at that strike force and say, and that team look at it and say, that's a potential to close the gap. Firstly, there's no arrogance. No arrogance whatsoever. Only one arrogant player you can say, you could look at Richarlison, you could look, but I would say he uses it the wrong way, dies around too many times, and he doesn't use his, he gets on people's nerves like he's just not very good in that sense. Then you've got Johnson, nice guy. Werner, nice guy. Son, nice guy, not a great captain, but he's got his credit in the bank for the season. He's been very good for us. Solomon, nice guy. So when I'm naming all those forwards, and Timo Werner, nice guy, those forwards are not going to close that gap to Man City. Especially when Man City lose Pep Guardiola, because Pep Guardiola is making noises he wants to leave Man City, maybe in its too distant future. It's then time for teams to take the opportunity to grasp that opportunity to start winning, because Man City were dominating, so it's then for other teams to take that mantle, and that's it. But Tottenham Hotspur don't look like they're going to do that with the players that we've got. And that's what I mean by closing the gap. The transfer window was not a big deal for me. It wasn't based on, my argument's not always based on the transfer window. It's based on just what the board do and stick with Postecoglou and stick with the plan through long term, whether the fans like it or not. But as we're seeing right now, the indecision of what sort of quality we are getting, the overhype of young players that have got really nothing to really go on. They've had 1 or 2 good seasons, but still you can't really base it on that. It's only potential. And as you see, potential can only grow and needs coaching. And as I said, I don't know whether we've got the right coaches to coach these players to make them great. And that's it. Whether they get to grips with the system or not. So, really interestingly, really, for me, at the moment, what we're doing at the moment, and whether people say the transfer window's not ended, again, I'll go back to what I said. I'm not basing it just on the transfer window. I'm basing it on the way that we are as a club, the way that we don't push ourselves. I don't think we are closing that gap. The way I look at we close the gap, you get an Ivan Toney. Yes, he's arrogant, but I don't need to worry about him if he misses chances. He'll just say, well, I'll shrug my shoulder and score next couple of minutes or bang it in the next couple of games. It doesn't matter to him. It doesn't matter if the fans have a go at him. He'll still bang it in next week. He'll still shoot it and try and score. He'll still make efforts even more. I'll take Eze, even though I thought Elise is better than him in terms of attitude and mindset. But still, I still take him because he's got that quality. He's got that quality that he'll run on the ball, he'll go past players, and he'll put the attention on himself so other players will have more space, because the defenders are more worried about him rather than worried about other players, and that's it. Because when you've got a dribbler like that, you're drawing in the defenders, and that's it. So you're drawing in defenders, and what does that give? It gives more space for other players, like your Kuluzeskis, like your Madisons, to put through balls in and cause even more problems. And maybe even a Chiesa, someone like a Grealish. For me, that's his quality. Someone that's going to do something out of the ordinary. And when I look at what we've got at the moment, we've got nobody. Nice guys. Not guys that want to just get the job done. Do something out of the ordinary. Like a Gascoigne, like a Grealish, you just don't have that at the moment. And for me, regardless whether you've got young players like your Archie Grays, your Birdval, for me, they haven't got the know-how of how to win. And when you've got young players like that, you need experienced players who've won to lead them. And that would help them close that gap, because then they bring that knowledge and experience to those young players. And then they become and emulate the players that they're trying to compete with, the experienced players. And that's it. So the question I'm asked, the question why I asked this is that we were so used to quality strikers where I was sitting there looking at it. You had Defoe scoring goals, Robbie Keane scoring goals, you had Berbatov scoring goals, you even have Mido. I'll take Mido than some of these strikers we've got at the moment. Absolutely damn useless that we've got at the moment. At the moment, some of the strikers that we have got. But if we had some of the strikers that we had before that we were used to back in the past, like Teddy Sheringham, Klinsmann, all these players, they would make a huge difference taking on their man. But we are settling for average players, and this is the thing. So while the youngsters are doing very well at the moment, so we have them like Will Yankshire, like Mikey Moore, that's great. But if you're telling me that we're going to be happy to have those strikers and they're going to help us close that gap to Man City, well, who's the joke? And it's definitely not me right now, because I know that we're not. And that's it. That's the reason why I think we need better new strikers, and that's it. So when you look at this view right now, this beautiful view, would you rather be in a beautiful view like this, seeing great strikers that are going to get you off your feet, you relaxing on the beach, relaxing seeing great players, taking on their man, getting you off your feet, scoring goals, arrogance, or just seeing players that work hard, that are not going to close the gap, they'll do well, they'll get you into Champions League, they might get you one season in Europa League, you might get to a final, but like Conor Gallagher proven last season, when it was a final, did he turn up? No. Harry Kane, what happened? Didn't turn up. Quality gets you over that line. Richarlison doesn't get you over that line. A Haaland does. A Isak does. A Tony does. A Grealish does. And that's what we had before. So I ask you, Tottenham fans, would you want to have that back to what we were used to, or just keeping what we're getting at the moment? That is not going to close that gap whatsoever, and end up your manager, Postecoglou, out the door like I predicted, like I said before, at the end of the season. Sorry, truth hurts. On a beautiful day in Jamaica, in Montego Bay, and that's it. So what do you think? Do you think some of the quality of players that we're going linked with are going to help us close that gap to Man City? Do you think the forward line is going to help us close that gap to Man City? Leave it in the comments. And please like and subscribe. And you'll get more videos like this while I'm in Jamaica. And there's Mr. Box Office on tour, which is more interesting than what I saw last season and what I saw in the Euros, and that's it. But like always, as we close, as we always do, and keep liking, subscribing, like I said, and keep your notifications on, and that's it. If you didn't know, get to know, support your boy, Mr. Box Office, subscribe and like, and come on you Spurs. And I'm out.